The Pope is giving blessings to various countries. He's just given a blessing to Ukraine. And in this pageant of incense, ceremony, and global resonance, including the Pope blessing the people with holy water, the asperges, Pope Leo XIV is being formally inaugurated as the 267th pontiff of the Catholic Church. Beneath the colonnades of St. Peter's Square, an estimated 250,000 pilgrims, alongside heads of states and princes of the Church, witnessed the ceremonial beginning of a papacy already charged with significance. For the first time in history, the Bishop of Rome is an American, and yet, as the gold fisherman's ring was placed upon his finger and a woolen pallium draped across his shoulders, it became instant. Pope Leo's vision is far more Catholic than national. Leo, formerly Cardinal Robert Prevost of Chicago, processed through the square in an open-top Pope-mobile to roaring crowds. The liturgy, rich in Latin, Greek, Spanish, and English, was not an enthronement for his already Pope, but a symbolic convergence of tradition and mission. And since the early 60s, the Pope has no longer been crowned. The Pope descended to the tomb of St. Peter, paused for silent prayer, and emerged bearing the signs of pastoral authority. In that gesture, the modern papacy rooted itself in apostolic soil. Yet this was no mere rite of passage. The presence of the patriarchs of the Eastern churches alongside him marked a powerful overture. It's a gesture not simply of ecumenism, but of structural recognition, of papacy seeking unity with diversity, not uniformity. And within days of his election, Pope Leo had turned his gaze eastward, delivering an address that many have called nothing short of historic. Citing Leo XIII and John Paul II, he declared the Eastern Church is precious in God's eyes. In the year marking the 1700th anniversary of the Council of Nicaea in Iznik, his words reverberated with ecclesiastical depth. He called on the Church to breathe once again with both lungs, the East and the West, and warned against the neglect, the assimilation, and the liturgical Latinization of Eastern communities. It's not just poetic, it's policy. Leo instructed the dicastery for Eastern churches to ensure that Latin bishops materially support Eastern Christians in the diaspora. It's no small directive. It's structural reform camouflaged in pastoral concern. And then quietly but deliberately, Leo has sent another signal, this time to those in the West alienated by years of liturgical marginalization. He spoke with reverence for mystery and unmanipulated beauty, words that in the post-Traditionis Custodes era have carried explosive implications. Without naming the Vetus Ordo, the traditional Latin Mass, he defended the theological depth of symbol of silence of sacred language. For many, it's been a dog whistle to tradition, and crucially, it's come from a man rumoured to have celebrated that very liturgy, the Tridentine liturgy, in private. Whether or not Leo proves to be a reformer of the reform remains to be seen, but in this early moment he was shown in a capacity to listen and to symbolise a far cry from mere ideological posturing. This is not simply a pope for the sacristy. Pope Leo arrives on the global stage with fluency in Spanish, an affinity for the poor, and a robust understanding of global politics. His inaugural address was attended by President Zelensky, Prince Edward, the Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, and the ever-photographed J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, Americans with very different visions of faith and politics. His record is clear. Before ascending to the papacy, he was critical of Trump-era immigration policies. He's spoken openly of migrants as a treasure. And yesterday, he warned against fake news, indoctrination, and the flattering of conscience. The Vatican is not a think tank, but with Leo, it may well become a moral compass. Still, he faces the same fissures that split his predecessor's church. Germany's Catholics demand reform, traditionalists cry for restoration. In the United States, the church is often a proxy battlefield for cultural war. Yet early signs suggest Leo could be a rare bridge builder. He's quoted both Francis and Benedict, nodded to doctrine yet embraced new media. He wears ornate vestments but speaks plainly. He's a liturgical conservative who plays Wordle, a missionary who quotes the fathers of the church, a pope who may yet reconcile paradox with purpose. So, what sort of papacy will this be? The truth is, we don't know. But on this morning of incense and sunlight, of tradition and innovation, we've glimpsed its outline. Leo XIV is no radical, but neither is he a caretaker. He's a man formed by missionary labour, animated by justice, and attuned to the rhythms of ancient rites. He is as likely to meet you on Instagram as in the Apostolic Palace. And today, as the bells of St. Peter prepare to ring out and the Pope's voice echoes across the cobbles, one could not help but feel a shift, not seismic for sure, but a shift definitely. The fisherman's ring may be symbolic, but the man who wears it now seems ready to cast his net far and wide.